Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and this is my co-host, Quinton Brown. And thanks to Quinton, we have an amazing guest tonight, NFL Pro Bowler, multi-season talent, and now Cigar Brand owner, Ken Hamlin. Let's bring Ken in. Ken,
Hey,
how you doing? So I hear you playing a little softball there today?
doing a little bit. We got a celebrity softball little game going on, so it's just trying to get that going and give back a little bit, little charity.
Of course. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So, Quinton, you want to kick us off on this one?
Yeah, man. I would love to, man. I have the privilege of running into this gentleman all over the place in our travels. Ken Hamlin has always been a friendly face, man. Always reached out, shook my hand. So when we connected in Houston last week, I said, I would love to be able to, talk about the brand and have you on. So I reached out to Ken, and Ken said, man, sure, let's do it. So Ken Hamlin, please introduce yourself to the fine Stogie Press world. So for those that don't know, can now be informed as to why you're on with us this evening.
Yes, sir. Well, so you already said my name. Former NFL vet. I played 8 years, Seattle Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys. Retired. Been a long time now. But when I retired years later, I actually got more into cigars and got to learn more about cigars. Got to really dive into the process of cigars, and then had the opportunity to. I was blessed to be able to create my own blend, the Arrival, and it'll be 2 years old in November. But it's something that I'm proud of. It's something that I can say I went through the entire process of really learning, blending, putting in time and effort into creating something that other people can enjoy.
So what was your desire to go to La Aurora? I mean, there are a lot of factories to choose from. What drove you to La Aurora?
It was an organic type of sort of relationship that was built. I met with probably 4 or 5 different factories, and it just naturally came back to La Aurora being a good fit, especially for this first cigar and really just putting it out. So it wasn't anything that I said, this is the group that I want or this is where I'm going. It just over time, it sort of grew on me, and I grew on them, they grew on me, and it became a good fit.
When you work with them, what was your most, I would say, enlightening moment about making a cigar, having smoked a cigar in the past versus working in a factory and seeing it hands-on, and the process of creating something?
I think the most interesting part was really just the entire process was interesting. But I think that the one thing, was just the fact that things that I didn't know, things that I really didn't understand or know, and how in depth, cigars, tobacco can be, and just learning and being able to really see all of that come into play over time, and really learn about tobacco, learn about what this soil does with this type of seed, and what this soil can do with this type of seed in this region. It was just a lot that was going on with that sort of made it a lot more interesting.
Now, when you think about growing tobacco, when you grew up in Memphis, all right? Did you grow up in the inner city or did you grow up in the outskirts of the city?
Oh, in the inner city.
In the inner city.
Yeah.
So your mother didn't grow any like tomatoes or anything like that? back in the
No, we
day?
didn't have any. My great grandmother and great great grandmother, they had gardens and farms, like small farms, but we didn't have any of that. So I got to see it growing up because we went to, different parts of Tennessee where my grandparents and great grandparents lived, to where it made, that was a vision that I saw, but that wasn't something that really, I guess, stuck to me at that moment. This was something that sort of came on later on. The love of cigars and enjoying cigars, whatever, was something that came on later on.
All right. So when you went down there, you walked the fields with them down in La Aurora?
Oh, definitely. I did the entire thing. I mean, I went down to La Aurora, went down to Santiago, Dominican Republic, and really went down to Pro Cigar Fest, was the first event the first actual outing that I had in Santiago. And I was able to go into different factories, different fields, sort of see a little bit of everything, and was able to dive into it really and really see what was going on.
So, Ken, I think we might have a first. This might be a first ever. We're all about doing first here. We don't like to play second fiddle to anybody. So you said you're actually at the Texas Rangers Stadium right now?
I am at the Rangers right now, definitely.
So Boston Jimmie.
I'm taking you on a quick little visual of it so you can see. I am here right now.
Yes.
As we get ready, and they're doing the home run derby right now. But yeah, I'm here right now, just trying to.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Trying to get it. Oh yeah, man. So I mean, look, I still got a cigar in my hand now.
I see.
So yeah, so we're gonna keep the party going.
So Jimmie, I'm gonna take your question that you asked me the other day, and I'm gonna ask Ken right now, because I know we got a tight time frame since he's at this softball tournament, home run derby today. What was it like playing for Jerry Jones?
Oh man, man. You know what? I think people don't understand, but see, I've known Jerry since college. I mean, I've known him since I went to Arkansas, so I've known him since the beginning. So it's one thing, whatever, to sort of get to an organization and sort of learn the people, whatever. But I've been knowing him since I was in college. We've had a relationship since then, so it was natural. It was a natural fit. Once we got there, I mean, it was like family already. So it was nothing to learn, nothing to sort of like pick up on. I already knew who he was and what he was about. Been around him enough. I know what type of guy he was. So it, like I said, and I wanted to go to Dallas, so that made it even better. I was in Seattle for 4 years, so to be able to take that next step and go to Dallas and play here in Texas Stadium in Dallas was great.
Now, being that you said you and Jerry Jones have a great relationship, did you send him a box of your cigars when you launched?
Oh yeah, I was actually at the game and gave Stephen Jones one of the boxes for them to enjoy. And he'll text me every now and then and say he's enjoying a cigar for the win. But yeah, so I definitely had to make sure to show love with them and let them, because and then of course there's a cowboy lounge out here where you can enjoy cigars as well. So my cigars are in the cowboy lounge, so that makes it another plus.
Oh, so they have a lounge in the stadium?
So it's where the practice facility. Jerry built a whole practice facility. So they have a lounge where you can overlook practice, and it's they should have never allowed him to build something like that, because he has built an entire compound.
Now let's go back to the Arrival. So let's break that down a little. So what was the genesis of the name?
Say that one more time. What
was the genesis of the name, the Arrival?
So the Arrival, when I think about that, I think about making it, as far as me when I played and as far as what I want this cigar to stand on, it was about making an impact and an impression. When you arrive, making that impact, making that impression. And that's what I want the cigar to do at the same time. So it was about what I did when I played and how I wanted to impact a game and what I want the cigar to do.
Okay. Now, what is the blend on that? You have one blend or more than one blend?
So this is one blend, three vitolas, Ecuadorian wrapper and binder, Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Brazilian in the filler.
Very nice. And I just got a note here from one of our followers, Chico Ray, who says that the staff at Aurora Cigar Factory is very knowledgeable.
Oh, very. I mean, you think about it, it's the oldest Dominican cigar company out there, 1903. Guillermo Leon is the fourth generation, I believe, in the business. And the guy is like a don. When you think about just the wealth that he has and the knowledge that he has in the cigar game and just in what's going on in business itself. So that factory and that company, they do a lot. And I think that's one of the things that sort of lured me to them as well, just how they handle certain things, how they treat you like family. It's a lot of that really pours into what really made that a good decision, an easy decision for me to go with them.
Now, when you came up with the blend, obviously you went through probably a few different blends. What was in your mind as far as flavor profiles and aromas? What did you want that cigar to do?
Well, the first thing I would say is that I wanted one of my favorite tobaccos for a wrapper is the Ecuadorian wrapper. I wanted that to be incorporated into it. But what I wanted something where a light smoker as well as somebody that's a full body smoker can enjoy. And that's one thing, that to try to find something that will keep the attention of a guy who's a heavier smoker and looking for a lot of, whether it be pepper or just that robust type of flavor and smoke. At the same time, not overpowering somebody that is a beginner smoker or somebody that, really isn't into a lot of pepper or into a lot of strength. So I wanted to try to find something that had some balance, but at the same time had that complexity as well. So that was the biggest thing for me with this person, to have something that could sit there and complement all levels.
And what did you achieve at a price point?
Oh, price point. I mean, thinking about how they wanted to, dealing with the marketing guys over at La Hora. I mean, those guys, they love to get creative. So we definitely could have gotten more creative and gone more super premium with certain things. But I wanted to keep it in the realm where, I know some people, if a cigar is $9.99, they will buy it all day long. And as soon as it says $10, they're like, I don't know. I mean, it's like that sometimes. But my thing is that I don't want a cigar that looks good sitting on the shelf. I want a cigar. Guys are hitting home runs. The guys are hitting home runs right now, just so y'all know.
Wait. The guys are hitting home runs with softballs?
Oh, there's another one.
How far are they driving those softballs? Is that, did they move the wall up?
Stadium, double deck. They did not move. They are hitting at the regular area. He just hit 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Oh yeah. Yeah. But back to what we're talking about. Price point wise, I want something that's in your hand and smoking. I don't want it to be sitting on the shelf and just looking a certain type of way. So I wanted something that is competitive, but at the same time, something that is easy to get off the shelf, because it's not going to hurt your pocket, especially with everything right now. You think about gas prices being so high. Cigars they'll end up becoming a second nature. They'll end up becoming a second thought.
Now, do you use their distribution network, or do you have your own?
So Miami Cigars is who distributes my cigars.
Okay, so Miami Cigars doing distribution of you. How many shops have you been able to get into in this beginning of your journey?
Ooh, I'm in quite a few. I'm throughout Texas, so I'm heavy in Houston. I'm in Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Louisiana, Florida. So I mean, I'm throughout the southern parts of the states. I am definitely moving a lot more. I'm about to introduce the cigars to the new lounge in Vegas, 8 Lounge. That's in the Resort Worlds.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. So, I mean, it's a slow process, but it's a process. This is how I would like for it to go. I would like for it to go this way so that I can sort of know where it's going and build those relationships.
So how often are you on the road now? You're doing a lot of events, personal cutting lights.
On the road quite a bit. So it's I would say every month I'm going somewhere to do some type of event.
Did you get him out in Seattle yet?
So Seattle with Cigar Lounge is not big. I mean, I've gone out there and we've done some smoking events, and we're going to do some more. I'm actually going to be announcing a couple of events with some of my former teammates who have. So we're going to be doing some collaborations with some stuff that they have going on, and I'll be on my social media posting that type of stuff. But definitely we'll be getting back to Seattle.
Now, are you in the just out of curiosity, since I'm going to be in Fort Worth tomorrow throughout the week, are your cigars in the underground in Fort Worth?
Hey, so we are about to restock soon in underground. I started out there. That was one of the original spots that I was in, and we'll be restocking in there soon.
Oh, okay. Q, questions?
Listen, Ken, with all that you guys have been talking about as far as the number of lounges that you're in, where are some places that are on your radar to get into that you're most excited about? What shops or what states, markets are you most excited about joining or getting into?
The biggest thing for me is about that relationship. There can be certain spots that might look good, but if the relationship between me and that lounge isn't going to grow and it's going to build, then it doesn't fit. I want to be able to, I want to pour into that lounge just like I want them to pour into me. So I want to have that back and forth with them. So it's more into that than just looking at a lounge and saying, yeah, this is where I need to be, because it has to fit. It has to be the right fit.
Is there any market that, even though you say it has to be a fit, is there any market that's on your radar that you would like to build that connection in?
Oh, well, they might start calling themselves. Oh, but no, let me say this. Within the next year or two, I plan to be in nationwide. So with that being said, every market is where I want to be. But I don't want to be in one lounge in this state or city and say that I'm nationwide. I look at how Davidoff, how Padron, how, some of these, even a smaller LFD, who produces probably like 5 million cigars a year. Like they are bigger and in bigger markets. I want to eventually grow into that. But I think that getting more into Texas, of course, Florida being a big market of cigars. New York is a market that I definitely want to get into sooner than later. So those type of things, whatever be, those ones right there are probably the first initial ones.
Are you going to be at PCA in Vegas with the team? Okay.
With me.
You could have your own booth?
No, I will not have my own booth.
You're going to be with Miami?
I will be over with Miami Cigars.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Sir.
So one of our other followers, being a Boston fan that he is, Kevin the Commish Parrow, says Hamlin's a good player, but it's still Patriots all day.
Oh, Lord.
What was your...
Listen. You know what? Hey, I don't mind that, because you know what? The Patriots have earned that type of respect. I get it. But all I know is when I played against them, we had some great days. And those Super Bowls started to come after I was gone. So I'm not too worried about that. That's cool. I respect that.
Who was your biggest nemesis in the NFL?
Oh, Isaac Bruce, St. Louis Rams. I don't even have to hesitate. When I was in Seattle, that was a battle, and it was such a battle that every time we played them, the equipment guys would put up his name, his number, his jersey in my locker, just to just to get at me even more because they knew what was about to happen. They knew in the game what was about to transpire.
Wow.
Inspired you to play even better.
Oh man, it was interesting.
So Isaac Bruce is the biggest nemesis. What team did you despise playing the most?
Outside of the Rams, well, you know what? I would have to still say the Rams too, because with Mike Martz, they offensively they never line up in the same formation twice. So to be a defensive back and have to deal with that and have to go with that, like you had to deal with a lot to really figure out what they're trying to do. So that made it a little bit more difficult, but it made it fun too.
Okay, so here's a question that links both. Being that you are an ex-NFL player, right? Do you apply any of the traits or attributes that it takes to be in the NFL? Do you take any of that stuff that you learned in the NFL and apply it to your now cigar business that you're running?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that you can learn a lot by playing this sport. It teaches you a lot in business. It teaches you a lot in life. And I mean, I try to make sure that to pour into that because I think it got us in football. I think that it would do the same thing in this business with it. I mean, the team concept of this, just really that work hard, never give up. There's a lot of concepts in football that I can definitely, and I do bring into the cigar world.
Yeah, you still have time to talk because I know you're on a schedule.
I have. Well, they're about to start the game in a second. I'm batting fourth. I just found out I'm batting fourth, so I'm cleanup. I'm the cleanup guy.
No. Okay. So
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm the cleanup guy.
Okay. So what I usually do right about this point is I give a quick shout out to the sponsors. So hang in tight if you can.
No question.
Give the shout out, and then we'll come back in and see how much more time we have.
Okay.
So today's show is sponsored by the Cigar Clowns. Cigar Clowns is a Facebook group that invites everybody to come along the journey with them to find the perfect cigar. It's not easy because everybody's perfect is different. But if you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of their limited releases, you know what's up. If you haven't had one, stay tuned to their page. And when a run drops, they go very quickly. Good conversation, great people, and smoking cigars, it doesn't get any better. So they want to welcome all brothers and sisters of the Leaf who share the same love as they do for cigars to join them on their Facebook page and check out their cigars. Believe me, we have fun with them. Today's show is also brought to you by Platinum Nova. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company with only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship goes into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars at www.novacigar.com and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Drew Estate.
Get ready, because Drew Estate is back better than ever. The party's so big, only the Lone Star Steak.
Oh yeah, you gave me the Maverick.
Mouth-watering barbecue, cigars galore, and so much more. It'll be the most epic picnic there ever was. Barnsmoker presents Savage Feast, October 22nd at the South Fork Ranch, Dallas, Texas. Get your tickets now at barnsmoker.com.
Yep, get those tickets. And yeah, they're going to be having that Barn Smoker Savage Feast at the South Fork Ranch later in the year. And I would say you need to be there if you're going to be anywhere. And lastly, today's show is brought to you by Rodriguez Cigars. Rodriguez Cigars started in 1947 the masterful art of cultivating tobacco on their private plantation in the town of Siguane, Cuba. By 1952, La Finca Common Cedar employed over 20 workers and grew over 120,000 pounds of tobacco annually. 8 years later, the Cuban government nationalized the private plantation, and the Rodriguez family was forced to immigrate to the United States. In 1971, the family found a new beginning on the beautiful island of Key West, Florida, and established the Rodriguez Cigar Factory in 1984. It stands as the oldest cigar manufacturer in Florida Keys, preserving the historical cigar manufacturing industry that began in Key West in 1831. And as the years pass, future generations of the family have expanded manufacturing operations to Nicaragua, and they're proud to be working with some of the finest tobacco in the world. If you ever check out Rodriguez Cigars, Key West, it is the place to go to in Key West, Florida. And if you go there, take the cigar tour. It's $15. You'll learn all about the leaf. You'll learn all about rolling, bunching, and even making your own cigar to take home as a memento. So with that, we're going to come back to Ken, because without our sponsors, the show's always a little harder to do. All right, Ken, you're back online.
Sir.
All right, Q it up. Q's
So
on.
we are
on mute.
So we are actually, we lost the home run derby. So now we're down 10-4, 10-5. So we got some work to do. I don't even know how that works where you give up points for the home run derby. That's what just happened.
So you played, you said to me earlier, you played baseball in high school and
Baseball, basketball, football, and ran track.
And ran track. You did it all.
Yes, sir. Oh, you lettered in all four. And actually, baseball, I was all state, all regional, all district. Basketball, I lettered in basketball. Track, I won the state in a couple events. Football, all state. So I was a multi-sport guy.
So being cleanup in this game here.
Oh, this is familiar for me now. This is familiar territory now. It might be. Let me see. How old am I now? Might be 20 years. Might be 30 years, 25 years removed from when it was happening. But this is familiar territory still.
So how far can you drive that softball?
Hey, listen. I get on the golf course or whatever, and I drive at about 280, 285. So I figure this one, it might sit on me a little bit. I don't know. It might sit on me a little bit.
So Ken, who else is on your team? Obviously, you said this is a celebrity tournament. So who else do you have the privilege of being on the field with?
We have one of the big DJs and the MCs and DJs from the radio. Hollywood Bebe is here. We have Isaiah Stanback, who was my teammate in Dallas. Evan Oglesby, who was a teammate in Dallas. Now, once you start looking at some of the other guys played and they played other spots, but I'm not good with bases. So I'll be walking around and sort of tell you, and it's about, I would say it's about 100 people on 50 on each team. Like it's a lot of people. So I don't know how they're gonna get the bat, and how everybody gonna get the bat, but I guess they're gonna figure it out.
What is the charity that you're raising the money for?
So it's for the vets.
Good.
So the guy that put this on, TK, he does this for the vets every year. And obviously we're in Texas Rangers Stadium, so it's a big event. So he does it big, does it very big. Celebrity Softball Classic is the name of the event, and then they have a lot of other things going on.
Now, is this televised anywhere?
They are streaming it, live streaming it.
Okay.
And they're probably from that website, but they're live streaming it for sure.
So if anybody wants to donate during that stream, is there a channel that can donate to?
Yeah, the celebrity softballclassic.org is the website that they could pull up to donate or to look at, I believe, for the live stream.
Hey, Ken, just for the record, I want you to know.
Go ahead.
I just want you to check out what I'm smoking, so you can never say that we don't bring your cigars to North Carolina?
Hey man, hey, I always listen. One thing, whatever I know is from day one, whatever we met, it's always been 100. And I appreciate everything. Appreciate the support, man. Always. And of course, I might get kicked out if I like this on the field, but I'm gonna have it with me all day long.
Boston Jimmie, I know you got one of your hard questions that you want to ask. You always get on to me for asking the hard ones, but what's something that we can send Ken on the road with that's really going to
Give me a good one real quick. Give me a good one.
I'll give you a good one. So in your history of playing in the NFL, when I read your news and life in the NFL, there was a point in time, and I won't get into the details. If you want to, you can, but you got hit in the head with a street sign and fractured your skull. You followed that up with signing a contract with the Dallas Cowboys, and you became a Pro Bowler. How did you go from a fractured skull to a Pro Bowler? Listen,
God, that's about the only thing. I'm going from almost losing your life to creating, a legacy and for your family is at one point or another that was not. It was looking glim. So yeah, it went from a bad time, and I think the roller coaster and the ups and downs is sort of. It gives you an opportunity to build a story and have a story to tell, really. But I think it would just keep continuously to push and fight and not give up, and regardless on what was said at that time, because I got plenty of words of I might not be able to play again, I might not be able to do this, but my whole focus was on getting back on the field. So, like I said, going from almost losing your life to being able to get back on the field and to make a Pro Bowl and to play the game again itself, it was a blessing for sure.
And Jerry gave you that opportunity. That's awesome.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Good man.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. And let me say this, whatever, because when I do come out with the next blend, I'm gonna come back on and I'm gonna spend a full hour with y'all, and I'm gonna sit my butt down and actually we're gonna have a more in-depth conversation. I won't be at a baseball field, whatever, doing this. But I appreciate y'all allowing me to get on and take a little bit of your time and just talk about the Arrival and talk about life in general.
And this Boston, I think if I'm not mistaken, this is the first ever. So this is for us at Stogie Press. This is the first live interview from a professional baseball stadium ever. Am I wrong in saying that, Jimmie?
I think so. I mean, I love to have like that camera somewhere standing up there when you get up to the plate.
Hey, listen, when I get to the plate, I'm gonna have to get some video of it though. But I'll see if I gotta post it.
That'll be awesome. That's we'll go hit a home run over that wall because I mean, I could drive a softball a little bit, probably into center field, but there's no way I'm driving it the distance. I can't even imagine a softball going that far, although, I mean, it's not fast. Is it fast pitch or slow pitch?
Is it what? Oh, no. So they're doing softball under it's not fast pitch, no.
So it's just
they got to make it. They got to make it. Yeah, they got to make it enjoyable. They got to make it somewhat enjoyable. Guys, I appreciate it again. I'm about to go ahead and get this home run. Hopefully, I'm speaking into existence. They're about to get stuff started, but I appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, no problem. We'll have you back on, get your new blend, and we'll have some more conversation. And maybe when you get down to Aurora again, take some photos, and we'll just give a good story on you.
Will do. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And we appreciate you, baby boy, man. We really do.
Man, no, I'll talk with you soon.
All right.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
You too, Ken. So there we go. Ken, that's amazing. I would love to have had to give that phone to somebody and say, just tape him, just put him live while he's at the plate.
Is that not amazing right there to be able to see it be on the ground of a major league ballpark while somebody else is sitting there?
Holding a cigar in his hand.
Right.
Oh, my.
He told me that he was doing a softball game today, but he didn't say that it was going to be at the Texas Rangers Stadium. So I'm thinking that he's going to be at some, some damn field,
Yeah, he's hanging
somewhere.
out with his buddies and playing softball,
Right. And so when he's like, yeah, I'm at Texas Rangers Stadium, and he pans out, I'm like, holy shit.
That's crazy, man. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, so good. I'm glad we got him on, and I definitely we got to stay in touch with Ken and follow his journey a little more.
Ken has been doing amazing things. I was actually, I didn't say this while we were on the call, but I was actually at his launch of his cigar, the Arrival, when he first dropped. I want to say that it was in Houston when he did the initial launch, and it's been on the market and it's been growing, and I've been seeing it in more and more lounges and more shops. So he's been very persistent. He's been, every time I'm at an event, he's at an event, either with a table or giving out T-shirts or swag or something. So the one thing that I can say about him is that he's taking his cigar thing serious. It's not one of those things where it's like, hey, you just kind of see it and then you don't. He's always out there promoting. He was at most recently Houston Cigar Week. He gave away a box of his cigars and did a raffle and did all this other stuff that he was doing to promote the brand. So he's definitely out there. He's definitely putting his best foot forward, and he's definitely got a little skin in the game. So yeah.
Well, no, that's what we like to see. Growing brands is Stogie Press jam, man. Get these young brands, getting them a voice and helping them move their needle every little bit that we can, because it's good for the cigar industry. And I'm glad he has the attitude of get it on there and make those boxes go empty as fast as possible.
Yes. It is all about turn and burn, right?
Absolutely. So have you paid attention to all the news coming out on Stogie Press over the last week?
Jimmie, I've got boss Stogie Press alerts turned on my phone. And I swear to you, I almost thought about turning him off last week, because I was like, Jimmie is just hard at it this week, brother.
I was on vacation, and I'm glad I brought my laptop with me, because I get hammered with these. It's moving up the PCA, there is all of these announcements, and let's go through some of these and talk about what's coming out. This is the latest run, and we haven't had a show in 2 weeks, so we are kind of gathered with a bunch of things. I did do a couple of reviews since the last time, so let me come back here. So I took a look at another Emperor's Cut, and I'm really liking these cigars. I don't know if you've had these much, but this Emperor's Cut cigar, this is the Natural Pleasures. It had 2 blends. This is their second blend. This is the Toro. Another 95 rating from me. You can't go wrong with this cigar. It's a Nicaraguan Puro that has very rich, deep flavors. It had some cedar and dark chocolate, dry fruit, malt. I don't always get the malt, but when I get it, it's there. You know you're going to get it if I'm picking up the malt. It had some nice natural sweetness, nut and pepper and spice and woodiness coming through. It's a beautifully constructed cigar. It's got some veins in it, but again, veins are flavored. Never knock a cigar for veins if it burns right. It comes with a Gran Robusto and a Toro, nicely bunched and rolled. Really nice burn on it. Nice ash, beautiful ash cone. Comes down a little bit of jag at the bottom. Basically, a little mild wave at the end, but overall, this is a box-worthy cigar. It's consistent across. I think I smoked 3 of these for this, and it was just shy of 2 hours. So you're getting your money's worth for this one. The second one I looked at was one from Blanco Cigars. Blanco, this one came out, I think, a year or so ago. This is the Prince Hall Habano Rosado, okay? This one came in 88. Flavor-wise, again, this is one of these with flavor, not so bad. There was a little bitterness later in it that he got dinged on, but flavor wasn't too bad. It's an $8 cigar, so it's a very wallet-friendly cigar. The the whole story of Prince Hall was the first black Freemason. Okay, back in the 1700s. So he was known as Prince Hall, and he helped found the Black Freemasonry Society, and they made this for the Grand Lodge when they did this. So this one here comes in a number of different vitolas. The band, beautiful band. It doesn't do justice to my picture, unfortunately, but it's a black band with all gold running around it. And when you come through this, burn wise, it started getting wonky right in the beginning, and kind of just was giving me a bit of a problem. Little off burn, gets kind of, it just had burn issues, and I had to touch it up, and and I just don't like that. And I smoked 2 of these, and they kind of did the same thing. So, I really hope that manufacturers do take a good look at some of this and recognize some of the ways that, on at least on Stogie Press, where points can be pulled off from. I know some people tell you, hey, just worry about the flavor, and I'm like, but it's a whole experience and a journey. You're smoking for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You don't want to be touching your cigar up. It's going to change the flavor on it. It's going to mess it up on you. So that came in at an 88. When it comes to cigar news, like I said, a lot of news. So here's the first one. So General Cigars, STG, Justin Andrews, and Dion from Illusion got together, and they've created a new Excalibur line. Now, Excalibur is one of those cigars. When I was young, that was my go-to cigar for so many years. I absolutely loved the Excaliburs back in the day. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out and see what they're able to do with it. I believe this one here, it's got a Nicaraguan Corojo 99 coming out of Jalapa Valley, 2012 Corojo coming out of Jalapa, and Criollo and Corojo tobaccos from 1998, 99, and 2006 grown in Esteli as a filler. So this is just all the way through and through. It's going to be just Nicaraguan Puro. Which is unique because the original Excaliburs were all out of Honduras. All right. So this is a Nicaraguan version of the Excalibur. So looking forward, beautiful packaging, and they're running, but they're not cheap. They're running $20 a cigar. So yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. They'll be featured at. They're not going to be at PCA, but you'll see these hitting the shelves. Foundation has done an expansion of their I always pronounce that wrong, and I'll botch that up again, but both the Wise Man and the King. And this one here is now called the Macho Raton. And the Macho Raton, it's coming in one size, a 4 3/4 by 60. All right. So this is a short, stubby, fat cigar. It's coming in 2 different wrappers, a Corojo wrapper, okay, and a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. Basically, they reverse those. If you notice, the wrapper on the El Gunganese is going to be the Corojo, and they put that in the binder in the Wise Man and swap out the San Andreas for the wrapper. The fillers remain the same. Beautiful looking cigar. I've always had great reviews on everything that Foundation does. I really enjoy the work that Nick Maleo has been doing over the years.
I can absolutely second that. That is probably, when people ask me what my favorite cigar is, the Tabernacle Broadleaf and the
God, yeah,
is my absolute go-to when people ask me that question.
Our friends over at Blackwork Studio, James Brown and his factory, coming out with a new Killer Bee called the Shaolin. That's going to be featured at PCA this year. So you're going to see this one. This is a once again, very crafty cigar. A beautiful roll. Look at the cap on that. I mean, they just so artful what they do. I mean, it's just, they take their time doing this, and all of this for $13.50 on a cigar. All right. So it's a 5x46 Bellicoso, and they're coming in 24 count boxes. I believe I don't know if he put the whole blend in here. No, he didn't put the blend in. So I'm sorry, he did put the blend. What am I talking about? So it says Mexican San Andreas, Connecticut, and Candela on the wrapper. All right. So you're gonna notice a little Candela foot, and then he's got the Connecticut running across it with the San Andreas as the primary. And then it's got a Honduras Habano as a binder and a Nicaraguan filler. So check that out. They're going to be at booth 627 at PCA. So that should be getting a lot of attention. Steve Saka has now come out with a new Muestra de Saka called the Bewitched. The Bewitched is going to be packaged like all the others in that line, comes in individual coffins. And I love Steve Saka, the way he describes his cigars. He's going to explain to you that it's an intoxicating liga. It's using Nicaraguan and U.S. grown fillers with our exclusive Cultivo Tanto San Andreas Negro binder. Swaddled in a grade 1 Ecuadorian Habano seed Kappa. And Kappa is the wrapper. And it's presented in a 6 5/8 by 48 Prensado Vitola. So check that out. They're going to be coming in. They should be showing at PCA. I think he'll be at PCA. And then some more coming out of General. General's been coming out with a lot of cigars. Even though they're not going to be at PCA, they are loading up their lines. They come out with their Forged line. So Forged Cigars is a subsidiary of General, and they've announced a new La Gloria Cubano Series S line. And that Series S is going to be a Mexican San Andreas wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. It's all handcrafted at the El Credito factory down in Santiago. And these are very wallet friendly, priced anywhere between $8 to $9 in different sizes, from a 5.5 by 56 up to a 7 by 56. So you can check those out. Crown Heads has once again released their latest Las Calaveras. So
That's my boy.
This year, Las Calaveras came out. They're dealing with an old Nicaraguan binder and filler and a Nicaraguan Corolla 99 wrapper leaf. So this is we'll see how this one hits. I know some people have talked about some Las Calaveras is better than others, and every year they try to hit that next home run with it. We'll see how they work. They are being made at My Father's Cigars this time. And as always, they'll be in 24 count boxes, 3 rows of 8. They use the number 8 because it's a symbol of infinity and everlasting life. And this is always celebrating death in a good way. Okay.
I love the creativity that John always puts behind his work, man. It's kind of a lost art in the cigar industry a lot of the times. But when you really dig deep on a lot of his cigars, there's always a story that he tells associated with the cigars. And I really love that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, even the stories of his originals where, he was blending a cigar to the sound of rock and roll sounds. And they thought he was crazy. They say, go make me a cigar that tastes like this sounds. I love that story. Ace Prime has announced for PCA, they're coming out with the Maria Lucia. Maria Lucia is named after Luciano's mother, Maria Lucia Morales. So this one here is gonna be a big celebration for him. It's a beautiful kind of rounded box press on it. So it's kind of a soft box press without that extra crisp line on it. It's a single 5 1/4 by 54, coming in 12 count boxes with our MSRP at $12.80 a cigar. It uses a Connecticut broadleaf. And it has double binders, has Sumatra, Ecuadorian Sumatra, and an HBN 92 that comes out of Ecuador. And then it's got some bold fillers from Nicaragua, Dominican, and Peru. So,
hey, Jimmie, we normally don't have a little bit of lag time, but you're such an intellect when it comes down to cigars, right? Can you explain? Because I don't know, and I'm not asking this to be a smart aleck. What's the difference between a soft box press and let's just say a traditional box press? Can you school me for a second while we got?
Yeah. So you take a regular box press will have that nice. Well, it's probably the opposite way around, but you have a box press that has the crisp edges and they're crisp. It looks just like a box, right? It could be a little rectangular or it could be square, but it's got crisp corners. Whereas what I would call a soft box press has more of these kind of rounded edges on it. So it's not perfectly crisp, but it's not round.
Okay.
And keep in mind that the box press cigars were originally created by the Cubans years ago because they wanted to get one more cigar in a box.
Not so that they don't fall off the table, right?
Yeah, no. So the idea was they didn't want to make a bigger box. Right. And keep in mind also that box press cigars will tend to be slightly underfilled because they have to allow the ability to compress it. Okay. So that makes a little bit of a difference and sometimes in people's experiences. For me, I'm not one that says I like or don't like box press. It's if it burns right, it's a good cigar. Casa Cuevas has announced that Alec Cuevas has been promoted to the director of brand development. Alec being Lewis's son, so they've promoted him to be the director of brand development. So he's been having his hands on for a while since he came of age, and he's been really pushing heavily with the brands. He's always going to be the face of the brand. When you go out there, you're always going to see Alec around. Favilla. Now, Favilla is the Mombacho kind of rebranded themselves into what they call Favilla, and they're based down out of Granada, Nicaragua. They've been there for years. And what they've done is they've now just hired on Fabian Ziegler. If that name sounds familiar, Fabian was the face of Acid Cigars for Drew Estate for a long time. He left Drew Estate a few years back. And now he's able to, I guess he might have had a non-compete clause or something, but that must be over because now he has collaborated with Favilla on a new collaboration. And that new collaboration is being blended by and overseen by Indiana Ortez, who is the master blender and the operations manager down there at Favilla. So Fabian's come in, and what they've done is they're going to have more announcements on this as they go on, they say, but they're going to be launching the series in the US and Canada. They're going to do the US first, and then they're going to do Canada. Mombacho's got a big footprint in Canada, so they'll be doing that, and then they'll be opening up various international markets probably around September. So that should be an interesting collaboration. I'm looking forward to see what comes out of that. Empire Cigar Lounge next week. If you're in the Miami area and you want to have a lot of fun, Empire Cigar Lounge down in Brickell is celebrating the 6-year anniversary in 80s style. And they're bringing in a special guest, Stephen Bauer. For those who know who Stephen Bauer is, he is the iconic character of the movie Scarface. Remember this guy? So he was Manolo Rivera, and he's going to be there. I'm sure he doesn't exactly look like that today. He's probably a little bit older. But he'll be down there, and that party is starting on June 17th, 6 days from now. So that would be Friday night at 8 o'clock down in Brickell. And you go to the Empire Cigar Lounge, and they're going to have a lot of fun down there. So those that are in the area, you want to have a good night, go check out Empire Cigar Lounge for sure. Our friends over at Prospeak Cigars, coming out of the Cigar Hustler team, they've just released the Shepherd. And basically all they're saying about this cigar is the wrapper is really good. The binder is strong enough to keep it all together. And the filler is a leprechaun magic with a dash of fairy dust.
Oh, wow.
That's what they're saying about the cigar. It's going to be $14 cigar, 5 3/4 by 50, almost, but not quite Toro. So they're having fun with this, and they're doing this with Matt Booth. All right. So this is a Boofy collaboration here. So they're going to have
Boofy, baby.
It's Boofy, baby. That's right. I love it. I love what they're doing. So hopefully I'll get my hands on those as soon as they come out. I'm looking forward to those.
You always act like you're not the cigar whisperer. Like, hopefully I'll get my hands on some of this.
No, they're in my backyard. I'll just have to trip on over to Deltona and hang out with those guys.
You always got some exclusive shit you're smoking on. You're always like, I hope I can possibly get my hands. Like, you're so modest. Cut that shit out.
Protocol Cigars at Johnny Smokes. You might have seen this because John Rima, Johnny Smokes, has been promoting this like crazy the last month. They have finally come out with it. This is the new F train.
Now, didn't recently get engaged as well?
Yes, he did get engaged. Yes, he did. So there's going to be a cigar wedding. I am offering my services to conduct the service because I am an ordained minister now. I already did my first wedding with my niece last weekend, so I was successful at that. So I have the
congratulations.
Experience. It was an awesome time in Southern California. We had a great moment, great family time, but I was able to actually get through the whole service. And at the end, people were like congratulating me for doing such a great job. I said, it's not me, it's about them. Talk about the couple.
So you didn't tear up at all?
I did. And I won't deny it. I was told that I teared up at the right moments where I didn't break down and cry, but I got choked up at certain points, and it was noticeable, but it was noticeable at the right moments, and everybody understood everything behind why I got choked up. So
Those are the toughest moments, Jimmie. When you see someone else that normally can keep it together get choked up, and you're sitting up there, I'm pretty sure there were a whole bunch of watery allergy eyes in the crowd.
It was. Everybody knew, everybody that was at the wedding understood because, this is the niece of my brother who passed away last year. So, this is just, it was just hard around for everybody, but we wanted to make sure that we had a happy moment. So we got through the 20 minutes of the service, and then it was party time. And yeah, we had a party. Yeah, that was like 150 people. We just had a blast. My wife keeps reminding me that I was being a fool, but I said, okay. You know what I did do? I'll tell you this. This is the funniest story. I'm telling people this story because we're in Laguna Beach at a venue, and in Laguna Beach is a non-smoking town. All right. I think that's the end of our stories. Let me just double check here. Hold on. I'll tell you this story right now. This is a fun story. So, yep, that's it. So, and we also have the Sean Williams show from last week on YouTube. So it's a non-smoking city in California. So I'm hanging around some of the older people that I know, and I've got all my brother Tom's cigars with me that I made just for the wedding. We did go out in their little golf course and found little spots to smoke. Mind you, this is exactly the place. It's in the canyon right where the fire was 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So like smoking's like, they really don't want any smoking going on. But, we had the venue, we had this whole venue to ourselves. So after dinner, I'm sitting with some of these old cats that I know. And I said, let's just go fire these up outside. So we went out on the back deck, on the deck. And I told them, here's what's going to happen. And what I'm going to tell you is exactly what I told them was going to happen. So we go out there, we fire up the cigars, and we're smoking them, and we're just having a conversation. I'm about maybe a third of the way in, maybe. And one of the helpers, one of the attendants of there comes over, and he says, you're not allowed to smoke out here. And I look at him like this. So you're telling me I can't smoke outside? And he's like, no, sir. This is Laguna Beach. You're not allowed to smoke anything, okay, in Laguna Beach out in public. And I'm like,
Okay.
so what you're telling me is that we just dropped $20,000, $30,000 for this event. There's 150 people here.
And I can't smoke.
I'm doing this in front of them, right? So you're telling me that I can't smoke this, and there's nobody around here that's going to complain about it because we're all family and friends. No, sir, you have to put that out. And I'm like, I really don't understand this. Meanwhile, the other two guys are doing the same thing, right? And we're just smoking the cigars, talking to this guy, right? And I look at him and I go, I'm not sure if that rule is exactly as you say it, because I think you have the right, as in a private place, to set your rules as you choose, okay? And I think I need to talk to your supervisor. Can you go get him? We'll be here. And then we continue smoking the cigars. He walks away. And we're sitting there, we're smoking. I told these guys exactly what I'm going to do. And this is what's going to happen. And we're down about halfway now, right? And the manager comes over, right? And he looks at us and he goes, guys, you can't smoke cigars out here. And now I'm like, well, I was explaining to you, the guy here, that I don't understand why. Well, because it's against the law in Laguna Beach. And I say, is it really against the law in a private place? Like, I can't do this? He goes, no, sir, you can't. You have to put that out. I said, and then we're about a little past the halfway point. I look at the other two guys and I go, guys, he's probably right. We should put these out. All right, let's put them out. All right, well, thank you for the information, sir. We went back in and partied.
Wow.
So I'm having this conversation and I'm just telling this guy, I'm asking him all these questions while I'm smoking a cigar in front of him. He didn't know what to do, man. He was just like, yep, okay, we'll put it out. Thank you. Have a good one. We're going to go back inside and dance.
So that's very reminiscent of a story from PCA that Josh Johnson, a cigar lounge owner here, he owns Burners. And he says they were everybody was in New Orleans for PCA. I think this was
2015.
Yeah. So he's sitting at a restaurant, and Rocky Patel
just changed the law that there was no smoking, and you couldn't smoke within like 15 feet of any building. And the roads down in the French Quarter, you can walk down the middle of the road and you're within 15 feet of an opening.
Yeah. So Rocky Patel walks into this restaurant and he's got a cigar in his mouth. And the owner's like, hey, you guys can't smoke cigars in here. And Rocky Patel is like, okay. He was like, well, everybody that I'm with smokes cigars. He said, so how much for me to buy out this place so that we can smoke cigars? And the owner looks at him and says, I don't know if that's an option, Mr. Patel. And he says, well, let me find out who's your owner. So goes and gets the owner. He happened to be in the place. And Rocky Patel walks back out. He's like, how much for me to buy this place so that we can smoke? He gives them the dollar amount. He buys everybody's food and drinks in the restaurant. They walk in there and they start smoking cigars in New Orleans. That's
Sometimes
that was very reminiscent when you told me that story. Rocky Patel's sitting there like, oh, I can't smoke in here? Really? How much?
Yep, that's how it was. So anyway, so that's that was my story from Laguna Beach, and I'll have
That's an
that
awesome
story
story.
in my arsenal of stories to tell people when we have conversations. So you'll hear that over and over again. If you never heard it, you'll love it. If you heard it, just tell me to shut up, Jimmie. You already heard the story.
I'm gonna act like it's my first time hearing it.
That's it. So anyway, I think that's our show. We'll get together again with Ken. You stay in touch with him. We'll work some things out with him as we go forward. And that's it. So everybody, have a great weekend. Been fun. I know it was a little short interview, but it was fun while we had it.
Next time I'm gonna work on him. I'm gonna get him to go live from the batting from the box when he's hitting the home run.
All right, folks. That's the show. Thank you for joining. I want to thank all our sponsors. Without you, it's always a little harder to do this. Don't forget, Barn Smokers, get out there, get your tickets if you haven't got them. I know there are other events going on, so stay tuned. PCA, for those that are going, enjoy. I can't go this year. I have got commitments and things in front of me that is just kind of botched down with stuff. So I'm not able to make it out to PCA. I'm still trying to figure if I can finagle it, but right now it doesn't look promising for me. So we'll just leave it at that. And thank you everybody for watching. That's the show today. This is Boston Jimmie out. Stogie Press, peace. Have a great day.